Agripreneurship. So myself, Dr. Ahalya, I'm working as a managed fellow. So we are incredibly proud to have organized 200 webinars covering a broad range of topics related to the agri-startup ecosystem, conducted every Saturday since October 10, 2020. This open webinar series, in contrast to the many training and mentoring program, is more widely accessible and aim to benefit a large number of aspiring entrepreneurs and other stakeholders. MAN Center for Innovation and Agripreneurship, it is recognized as a center of excellence in agribusiness incubation and acts as a knowledge partner to strengthen and demonstrate best practices for Agribusiness Incubator and operating under the esteemed Nestle Institute of Agriculture Extension Management. We navigate innovation from ideation to full-scale commercialization with our unique methodology that gives a robust ecosystem from discovering ideas to delivering high-value proposition in a sustainable environment. Imagine a place where your ideas are not just heard, but celebrated and honed into a high-value proposition. Our comprehensive support system offering expert guidance and specialized training in many crucial areas. We are not just about business, but we are about building futures. Our commitment to your success is unwavering. We work to refine your concepts and empower to expand your ventures. So today's webinar is particularly exciting. So we are going to talk about government schemes for agri-startups. So we have two speakers with us, and our first speaker is Dr. Bindu Baireddy ma'am. So actually she holds a PhD in plant biotechnology and completed her postdoctoral fellowship at IIT Delhi. With over 5 years of experience at the Biotechnology Industry Research Assistant Council BIRAC and the Department of Biotechnology, she has managed diverse projects across India, including clinical trials, biotherapeutics, and vaccines. She is adept at advising and guiding entrepreneurship on government funding schemes. Currently, she is the CEO of Atal Incubation Center, supported by Niti Aayog, where she supports entrepreneurship in the pharmaceutical and healthcare and agriculture sectors. With this, let me invite Dr. Bindu Baireddy ma'am to take over the session. Bindu ma'am?
Yeah, thank you, Rahalya, for nice introduction. And it's really good to hear that Manage team has completed 200 webinars. That's not a easy task. Kudos to the team for doing this great job, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to be part of this initiative. And very good morning, everyone. So let me share my screen slides. Yeah, so based on my experience, hope I'm audible, right?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah. So based on my work experiences, today I'm going to brief on Atal Incubation Center, what we are doing at Atal Incubation Center to support entrepreneurship, and also the funding opportunities available in the government sector, especially for biotech and allied sectors. So this is my team, our chairman, board of directors, myself, and my team. So basically, our aim is to support world-class innovation and dynamic entrepreneurship, and to build a scalable enterprise in the healthcare, life sciences, and agri sector. So our vision is to become one of the foremost bio-innovation center to develop sustainable goals and to support and assist budding entrepreneurs to compete the global market. So we have 4 focus areas, that is healthcare, pharmaceuticals, biotech, agriculture and allied fields, water sanitation, and solid waste management. So basically, we support startups in these 4 areas. So what we do? So if you have any idea, you can reach out to us. We support, we evaluate your idea, whether the idea is viable or not, and we help you to devise your business development plan. We help you to form a company, and we help you to dealing with IPR and legal related aspects. And we give you technical mentorship. We provide lab facilities, co-working space, and we also help you to crack these funding opportunities like government schemes, which I'm going to discuss in today's presentation. And also we have few support fund options like seed funds. So we help you to get the grants through angel investors and venture capitalists. So basically, so far we have engaged total 30 mentors across India, and We are 2.5 years old incubation center. We have supported 20 startups so far, and we often conduct many trainings and awareness sessions. So we have engaged more than 500 people through these events. And these are a few events we have conducted recently. So let me jump onto the today's topic. So what generally we do to support the startups? So we have a few grants available with us, like Ideathon grants, Women Support Fund, Big Seed Fund, CSR grants. So I'll be going to discuss each uh, opportunity in detail. So Ideathon grants, generally we publish calls based on the availability of funds, and also in the 4 focus areas which I mentioned in the before slides. So when we publish the call, if you have any idea, you can submit your application. You have to pitch into the experts, and if your idea is falling into the merit list, you will get the grants. Similarly, we have special support for women entrepreneurs in the pharma, healthcare, agriculture, waste management, and water sanitation. So similarly, like Ideathon grants, we publish calls, we launch the call, and whenever the application call is open, you have to submit your application, and you have to go through all our review process. Like you have to pitch into the experts, they will review, and they will assess your idea based on the merit list. You will be selected. And the other funding opportunities are like big seed funds, CSR grants. Big and seed funds, I'll be discussing in detail in my upcoming slides. Coming to CSR grants, it's a corporate social responsibility grants. Basically, different kinds of banks and NGOs, they support startups or any innovative idea, like ICICI, HDFC, and one program supported by DST like Nidhi Prayas. So they have grants to support startups in agri and healthcare sector. So we give you access to these. See, basically, if you want to apply to any of these grants, you have to be incubated in any of the incubation center like us, or like other funding organizations of Bionest incubation centers. So where you are giving the support or trust to the investors, that you have ample amount of support to get through your idea, and your product will be launched in the market, or your service, whatever it is. So either through our incubation, Atal Incubation Center, or the Bionest Incubation Center supported by BIRAC, you have to enroll there, and you have to be incubated in any of the incubation center. Then you will get access to all these grants. And coming to the funding opportunities in government sector. So today mostly I will be focusing on schemes offered by BIRAC. So that is Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council. So for people who doesn't know BIRAC, it's a Government of India enterprise, Section 8 not-for-profit company, supported by Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology. So it is operational since 2012. So it's completed 12 years by this time. And I will be showing you the kind of projects they have supported so far. Living statistics also I will be showing today. So basically, they support startups in all the areas, starting from proof of concept to TRL level 9. And they support small and medium large entrepreneurs. And also there are special schemes for niche areas like antimicrobial resistance, or secondary agriculture, or drug development, or synthetic biology. So there are special calls for these kind of niche areas also from BIRAC. So basically the areas what the BIRAC is covering are healthcare, industrial biotech, agriculture and allied areas, waste management, sanitation, and clean energy. So apart from the whatever the categories I mentioned just now, there are other special calls based on the need they publish, like Mission COVID Suraksha. During COVID time, they have published special calls to deal with COVID related projects and to support the vaccine manufacturing of the COVID. So just to give the example, Serum Covishield is supported by BIRAC, at certain level. And also similarly, Covaxin Bharat Biotech was also supported by BIRAC. So this is the overall outline of the schemes available at BIRAC. Like, see, as I mentioned before, you have to incubate in any of the incubation centers, either through Atal Incubation Center, which is supported by Niti Aayog, or the Bioness Center supported by BIRAC. Similarly, they have EUA centers for students, especially final year students, PhD students. They have EUA centers, and there is a early stage funding and translational R&D support. So they support these kind of projects through schemes like big SIIP PACE. And for advanced stage funding, they have schemes like BIPP, SBIRI. And coming to another kind of scheme is equity funding, where they have access to seed funds. So basically, LEAP Fund, ACE Fund, and Bio Angels. So these schemes basically, if they support any of the project, they take some equity. So I think the percentage maximum they cover is 3%, but it depends on the kind of profits you get. It's not immediate equity sharing. So once you start getting the profits, then you have to repay to them whatever the fund they have supported. And coming to other special mission programs available at BIRAC, GCI, it's a Grand Challenges India. So it's a collaboration mission with Bill and Melinda Gates. So basically, they support women child health and nutrition and education also. And similarly, National Biopharma Mission (NBM). So it's a collaboration program with World Bank. Through this mission, they support biopharma projects. So basically, many of the biosimilar related projects, clinical trials, biotherapeutics, vaccines related projects. And the other mission they have is in CEPI. So it's a collaboration with neighboring CEPI program, which is in collaboration with neighboring countries. So here mostly they support projects who are working on infectious diseases, or it's a kind of pandemic preparedness. So whenever any kind of pandemic is there, like COVID, so such kind how to deal with such kind of outbreaks. So basically, this mission work on those kind of projects. And similarly, other mission programs like Make in India, Startup India. And as I mentioned before, they have special programs on niche areas like AMR, like COVID solutions. They launched Mission COVID Suraksha during COVID time to support the COVID projects. And other areas like clean cooking, secondary agriculture, new drug development, synthetic biology. So these are special calls. They publish calls depends on the need. So whenever any kind of outbreak or any kind of requirement is there, based on that requirement, they publish these calls. They are not regular calls. And apart from the schemes of grants BIRAC has, they also provide you opportunity to network with other government bodies. Like they have special programs like First Hub and Path. So First Hub, I will be discussing in detail in later slides. And then they have special program called PCP. So the product commercialization stage products for validation and commercialization of any product or service. They have this kind of special scheme. And also, as I mentioned, they have partnership programs. They have national international collaborations. They will provide opportunity for startups or entrepreneurs to interact with these kind of partnerships, so that they get the benefit from other bodies as well. And coming to in details of the funding opportunities at BIRAC. So as I mentioned, this is the total bar diagram of the schemes available at BIRAC for different stages. So from ideation to evaluate your idea, they have EUA centers. And from idea to proof of concept, they have SITARE and SIP program. From proof of concept to early stage development, they have programs like BIG, AIR, SIBRI. And from early stage to late stage, they have CRS grants and BIPP. And for the commercialization of your product, they have PCP, Product Commercialization Scheme. And they have, as I mentioned, they have, for all these stages, they have access to other scheme like equity fundings. So where they provide seed fund, leap fund, ACE fund, and PCU. So basically, whom they support. So they support individuals, they support students, and as a startup entity or small and medium enterprise, they support biotech companies or industries, research institutes or academic institutes, universities, non-government organizations, and societies. So in any of the category you are falling, you can apply to these grants, but there are different calls for each category, so which I will be discussing in later slides. So yeah, so basically this is the flow chart of your idea. So if you have idea, you have to work on your proof of concept, you have to build the initial basic work, you have to show to them your POC. And once your POC is ready, they will support you to the early or late stage validation. Once your validation is done, and they will help you in getting the regulatory clearances. And once your product is ready, so that you can commercialize or launch into the market, followed by scale up. So let us move to the schemes available. So now I will be discussing the each scheme, what is the criteria, and who can apply to the these schemes, and how you can crack these schemes. So they have EUA centers. So basically these centers are established in any of the universities or institutes, or they have collaborated with Bionest incubator centers. So basically the host institution has to provide 3,000 square feet or more area to establish these centers in their university or institute. And there should be dedicated team to manage all these the setup, like how we are doing now. So in EUA, they have different kinds of fellowships. For PG and PhD students, they have innovation fellows, and for UG students, they have EUA fellows. So what is the difference? So basically, these EUA centers, they have EUA knowledge partners as well across India. So these EUA centers and knowledge partners, in collaboration with Bionest, they select teams from universities or institutions, basically the UG, PG or PhD students. They support, if you are coming up with any idea, so they will support you in materializing your idea. So these are different UVA centers and associated partners across India. So anyone want details, maybe you can drop me a request. I will share these details further. So I'm not discussing this, things in detail. So basically, what is the scheme looks like? So from each institution, coming to EOA fellows for UG students, this form, if you are coming with any idea, they make a team. So they select 5 students as a team. So similarly, from each institute, they make 5 teams, and one student representative from each team should be there. And the duration of this fellowship is 12 months. So basically, they support 7,500 per quarter per student, and 2.5 lakh as an annual research grant. So this is basically, at the initial stage, if you have any idea, you want to check whether your idea is, viable or not. To make that decision, this call will help you. So what is the eligibility criteria? So for innovation fellows, so for any PhD student within 2 years of completion of degree, so it is exempted. For females, it is exempted. And for postgraduate students within completion of three years of degree, similarly females, it is exempted. So for PG and PhD students, the duration of the scheme is 18 months. The fellowship is for PG students, it is 30,000 per month, and for PhD, it is 50,000. And the research grant, annual grant they provide is 3 lakhs for PG students and 5 lakhs for PhD students. So this is the application process. So annually they publish these calls. So you have to submit your application. They will shortlist your application, and followed by you have to present your presentation face-to-face at BIRAC office. And based on your idea, they will evaluate and they will shortlist. Once your shortlisting is done, they will support you in working on your idea. And selection and evaluation for EUA fellows. So for any candidate coming with idea, their proposal should have these 5 points. Like, you have to identify problem and you have to show the solution for that particular problem, and how technically your idea is feasible. Practically, whether that can be doable or not, that you should show in detailed plan, and you should have a proper team to work on it. And what is your final deliverables? You should be very clear on these aspects. And for innovation fellows, so these are the points should be covered in any of the proposal. So the value proposition, what you are adding to the society, and hypothesis, how you will deal with that problem statement, and what is your methodology or work plan, and technical competence of fellows, like as I mentioned, team strength, how you are going to execute that, and commercialization potential. So how you can, market your product. What is the demand for your product? So if you launch your product, whether that product is product or service, whatever it is, any kind of idea, whatever the problem you are identifying, so you have to show that that is sustainable in long term. So that potential also you have to show to the committee. So that is the scheme of EUA. And then now the second scheme is SPARSH. So SPARSH is a social innovators scheme. So basically it's a field studies. They do it in the areas of maternal and child health, aging and health, food and nutrition, waste to value, combating environmental pollutions, and agri-tech. So similarly, as I mentioned before, you have to come up with problem identification and solution, and you have to show your team strength. You have to address any of these societal challenges and how you are identifying your problem, how you are coming up with solution, and how it is sustainable in long run. And the fellowship they are providing for these past fellows is 50,000 per month. It's a scheme for 18 months. And the good part about the BIRAC schemes is, once you are getting support, means they will help you in all the means, like they will provide you technical mentoring, they will help you in getting the regulatory clearances, they will give you networking, everything. So that's the good part of getting these schemes. And also they have a special fund, like a one-time mini kickstart grant of 5 lakhs per fellow. So these are the Spark centers across India. So now the number is less, but now they are actively supporting these Spark centers at many universities and academic institutions. In last 1-2 years, it is increased drastically. So if people are from any university or academic institutions, if you are interested, then you can reach out to BIRAC and you can submit application for this Spark center. You will get the funding support to establish the center and build up the team. Everything they will provide you. And the next scheme is BIG. So I think many of us aware of this BIG scheme. So it's very popular, biotechnology ignition grant scheme. So basically this scheme is to support the projects of proof of concept stage. So they again, any academic institute can, as a faculty, anyone can apply. As an individual, anyone can apply, or as a company, you can apply to this scheme. So they publish calls twice in a year. If I'm not wrong, one in June and one in I think November or December. So twice in a year. And they provide 50 lakhs grant up to 18 months. So far across India, they have 9 big partners and 11 associated big partners. So these partners will help you in providing mentoring, monitoring, networking to get the, reach to your, to build up your proof of concept stage. So I think I have covered this already. So who can apply? As an individual, you can, or as a company, you can apply, or as a faculty, you can apply. But if it is a company, you should show, proper registration for your LLP or, startup. Or if it is a startup, you have to enroll in Startup India. You have to get DPIIT certification. So those things, basically, I think many of you will get this idea, doubt how we will come to know, where to do all these administrative related things. So that's where our incubation centers come into the picture. So we will help you to, get all the, paperwork to be done. Whatever the administrative related aspects you need handholding, that we will provide you. And these are big partners and associated partners across India. I think they have 9 big partners across India and 11 associated partners. So as I mentioned, if you want to uh, go into the details of these centers, what they do, how they support, so just drop me an email request. I will provide you the details. So basically, what are the parameters they evaluate for giving the big grant?
To
So
interrupt.
first of all, the
Okay. Hello,
sorry.
ma'am. Sorry to interrupt. We'll finish within 3 minutes because time is also short. So we'll have a second speaker presentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so as I mentioned, your idea merit, what is your innovation level, and what is the commercial potential of your product or service. And they will look into the regulatory aspects. So basically, these things they evaluate how your idea, fit into these criteria. They evaluate based on the merit they select. And then there are other schemes like PACE, promoting academic research conversion to enterprise. So in the PACE, they have 2 different calls. One is AIR and CRS. So AIR is a academic innovation research, so which supports proof of concept. So here only the academic institutes can apply to this call. And CRS is a contract research scheme where you should have a collaboration with an industrial partner to validate your prototype. Similarly, so I think if you want to, get the details, just drop me an email, request. I will provide you. So, for AIR and CRS also, the project cost is 50 lakhs. The time duration is 24 months they provide. And they also help you in getting the IPR related clearances. So these are the details of AIR scheme followed by CRS. So there is another call I4. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
audible,
fine.
ma'am.
So yeah. So in the I4, there are 2 schemes. One is Small Business Innovation Research Initiative, SIBRI, and another one is BIPP, which is Biotechnology Industry Partnership Program. So this under SIBRI, small scale companies or startups where there is no cap on these projects. So basically the merit matters a lot here. So if your idea is worth enough, so they will help you in providing grants. And the another program is BIPP. So BIPP is basically to validation of your product. So like clinical trials or any commercialization stage validations required, they will support you. Um, so now we are done with the funding opportunities. But here I wanted to add few more points. So there are few programs in BIRAC where they will help you in getting the regulatory clearances and IP related issues. So this is a program called PATH, BIRAC PATH. So here you can drop a request to them. So if you are confused about patenting related issues and what kind of IP to be chosen, so they have a team and they will look into your problem and they will help you in taking the proper decision and drafting the application, filing the patents, So all these things they do through PATH program. And recently they launched this IP Technology Management Law Clinic Connect. So every month, second Friday, online they are conducting these sessions. So if anyone interested can attend these programs, so it will be really helpful. You will get the knowledge of IP about your product and services. And another one scheme available is PCP, so product commercialization scheme. So if you are looking for validation of your product or technology, so this is the PCP fund available with BIRAC. So these are the different sectors they are covering. So whenever the call is open, you can apply to this grant. Here also there is no cap for the funding, support. The time limit is 24 months. And I think Bionest already I have discussed, like incubation centers, Atal Incubation Center. BIRAC has a Bionest Incubation Center in our universities and academic institutions. So this is another one I wanted to highlight. There is a program called First Hub. So every first Friday of month, they bring all experts from DBT, BIRAC, ICMR, CIDESCO. So, and they will connect you with these expertise where you can get handholding on regulatory clearances of your product or technology. So it will, because most of the time people are not aware of what kind of support they get in terms of regulations and how to, launch your product into the market. So this program is very good program. So you can register in their website and they will call you for a interaction and they will clear all your doubts and they will handhold you to get the regulatory clearance. So coming to the seed fund and leap fund, I think next speaker is going to talk on seed funds only. I think she's the right person to take the initiative.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So quickly I just completed. So these are the, our social media handles, website and my email ID. So anyone want any further details or information, you can drop a request to my email ID. Definitely we will help you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am, for informative presentation. Like you have discussed funding opportunities, not only for the startups, but also the students who wants to start their entrepreneurship journey. So like you have fellows, innovation fellows and SPA, SPACE and aid schemes. So you also discussed how the funding assistance is providing from BIRAC, from ideation stage to scale up stage. So these programs like mentoring programs, niche area programs, mission programs, which will be definitely going to be helpful for the participants. Since we are short of time, we need to move to the second speaker presentation also. So moving on to the next session. So we have Miss Ananya Kumar with us. So she is an accomplished professional currently serving as assistant manager at Startup India. In her role, she plays a pivotal part in key initiatives such as the state startup ranking, which evaluates and encourages startup ecosystem across different states, pro bono partnership that bring valuable expertise to the emerging business, and the credit guarantee schemes for startups, which support startups in securing necessary fundings. With this, let me call Ananya Kumar ma'am to take over the session. Ananya ma'am?
Yeah, thank you so much for the introduction and good morning to everyone. I'm glad to be a part of this session. So I'll just be sharing my screen now, give you a little brief about the Startup India initiative. Uh, so let me know whenever my screen is visible.
Okay, ma'am.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay, so to start off, I'll try to keep it a little brief because we have multiple initiatives and benefits within the Startup India program. So to start off, I don't know how many people here are DPIT recognized, but considering that a lot of the participants might be students, so just giving a brief introduction to what the Startup India initiative is, what was the idea behind the launch of the initiative. It was launched on 16 January 2016 with the idea of moving India from a country of job seekers to job creators. So an action plan was launched with 19 action items based off of 3 simple pillars, which is simplification and handholding, funding support and incentives, and industry academia partnership and incubation. So with an aim of encouraging the entrepreneurial ecosystem, we came out with the Startup India initiative. So from 2016 to now, what the ecosystem looks like, we're the third largest startup ecosystem globally, with more than 140,000 startups which are DPIT recognized, 50% of which come from tier 2, tier 3 cities, and are creating 11 jobs per startup on an average. Looking at the number of the users on our Startup India hub, which I'll also cover in the upcoming slide, it is something that is very helpful to the participants here in terms of trying to understand any sort of relevant information that an entrepreneur might need. We have more than 717,000 users who are on our Startup India hub. So before covering the benefits, and considering a lot of the participants here are students, India is one of the few countries that has a definition of a startup. So, what exactly is a startup? This was released through a notification. 4 simple eligibility criterias. The first one being that the company can be private limited, registered as a private limited company, a limited liability partnership, or a registered partnership. The entity cannot be older than 10 years from the date of its incorporation, and its revenue in any fiscal year should not exceed more than 100 crore. In terms of what the company does, it should be working towards innovation or scalability, job creation, or wealth creation. So these are the criterias of the definition of what a startup is. Now, once you've identified yourself as a startup, there is a simple process of getting DPIT recognized. There's an online application form on the NSWS portal where you upload certain documents, and then you get DPIT recognition post the evaluation of your form. So now that I've covered that aspect of it, once you are DPIT recognized, you get exposed to a lot of benefits that are offered under the initiative. So these could range from government procurement benefits, patent benefits, tax exemptions, compliance regime simplification, funding support, so on and so forth. Prior to speaking in detail about the benefits, I would just like to introduce everyone to the Startup India Hub. Like I'd mentioned previously, any sort of information that you might require when it comes to entrepreneurship, it is available on the Startup India Hub. Even if you want to know of any particular state government schemes that are there for startups, any sort of ministerial schemes that are there for startups, any relevant publications and reports, and for students and for young entrepreneurs who are just starting out, we have multiple learning and development programs as well. We have something called the MARG mentorship portal as well. So how we try to frame we've tried to frame our benefits that we provide is based off of a startup's life cycle. So we try to support a startup at every stage of their life cycle. So starting right from the ideation stage to the validation to the early traction stage and finally to the growth stage. These are the kind of support that we try to provide. I'll cover a few of these supports here because most of them will be covered in the upcoming slides as well. So, something called pro bono services, for example, that we offer. This is free of cost services that an entrepreneur might need, ranging from legal services to banking services to cloud-based services. We currently have 23 partners who are registered with us, providing these varying services. This can also be checked out on our Startup India portal to get more of an idea. Then we provide market access opportunities, showcase opportunities, pitching sessions. We have multiple funding schemes like Fund of Funds, Seed Fund, Credit Guarantee Scheme for startups. Then we have our marquee initiatives like National Startup Awards as well. So speaking of how the access to funding works and the kind of funds that we have, three based on, so this is also relevant basis the startup's life cycle. So, for example, seed fund scheme is relevant.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Saurabh,
Hello.
is there any problem from Ananya ma'am side? She's not audible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I
Okay.
think so.
Kindly call her and please follow.
Okay, check. Meantime, we can take some question, no? Ragalya.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the
Mhm.
participants, are you there? You can raise your hands also. So let me ask you one question. So what are all the fellowship schemes that Bindu ma'am discussed? So you can give your answers in chat box, or you can raise your hands also. So by this time we can back up.
Hi, sorry, am I audible? I think I had some connectivity issues.
No problem, Miss ma'am. You're audible.
So should I continue or are we moving to the Q&A session?
No, ma'am. We will continue. We'll continue.
Okay,
Please
okay,
start
just a
sharing
few
the
more.
screen.
Yeah, I'll just share my screen. Screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am. You can continue.
Okay, great. Okay, so sorry for the disturbance, but like I was mentioning, depending on the stage of the startup, early stage startups, seed fund scheme is a relevant scheme for them in terms of the funding schemes under the initiative. Then for later stage startups, something like fund of fund scheme and credit guarantee scheme for startups. So just to touch upon the credit guarantee scheme as well. This is to provide loans, collateral free debt to startups, because this was something that they face challenges with. Seed fund scheme, it is funding that is disbursed through incubators. As you can see some of the numbers here, 227 incubator applications already accepted, more than 2,300 startups selected, and the disbursement number also you can have a look. 430, more than 430 crores have already been disbursed to startups. So covering funding, now moving on to something called MAG mentorship platform. This is also available on our Startup India hub. Here we try to provide startups with quality mentorship depending on the kind of mentorship support that they require. So there's an AI based matchmaking which connects startups with the relevant mentors. This is pro bono, free of cost. All DPIT recognized startups can access this funding, this mentorship platform. More than 1,700 mentors who are registered on our MAG mentorship platform. More than 2,600 startups are registered and actively availing these mentorship support. Occasionally, we also launch, periodically dedicated cohort programs. As an example, for agriculture sector startups, because I'm also part of the Agri-Tech team at Startup India, we had done a dedicated cohort for agriculture sector startups, where we invited guest speakers who were relevant in that field. These were ranging from VCs to sector experts, providing mentorship and guidance to the startups. As an example of the kind of speakers that we have on our mentorship platform, from organizations ranging from Morgan Stanley to Zest Money, MG Motors, Sequoia Capital, so IVCA, right? So from a range of sectors and industries. So covering a little bit on the access to market opportunities that we provide. So this can be bifurcated into three. Public procurement, domestic market access opportunities, and international market access opportunities. So DPIT recognized startups get relaxation on the government e-marketplace on prior experience, prior turnover, and earnest money deposit requirements. As you can see on the GEM platform, you're exposed to more than 48,000 government buyers. Some of the numbers that I mentioned here, more than 25,600 startups have registered and have serviced orders worth more than 27,000 crores already. So apart from public procurement opportunities, we also have a lot of corporates registered with us, and through various programs and challenges, we try to provide startups with domestic market access opportunities. More than 250 corporates registered with us. More than 900 startups have already benefited. So the benefits can be in both forms, in fiscal and non-fiscal benefits. In a lot of cases, there will be cash grants, there'll be pilot orders, but there'll also be hand-holding support that the corporate might provide. There will be mentorship support that the corporate provides. So both non-fiscal and fiscal incentives provided by these through these corporate challenges. So apart from domestic market access opportunities, we also provide our DPIT recognized startups with international market access opportunities. We have international bridges with 21 nations. We are connected with more than 30 Indian missions abroad, spread across 5 continents. You can see some of the countries that we are connected with. Apart from our bridges, international bridges, we also have numerous multilateral and bilateral engagements with organizations and countries. So we try to provide our startups with global market access opportunity to scale their products and move to the global markets. 2 examples of this on how it's done. So with Japan, in collaboration with JETRO, we have something that we do periodically. These are virtual pitching sessions that we conduct where investors from Japan and startups from India, not only providing that platform to the startups, but also giving them an insight into what the market looks like, right? So the startup is fully prepared prior to going and pitching their product to the market. So this is something that we do with Japan. Another form in which we provide international market access opportunities is through taking our startups for various events and expos that happen at a global level. So we have taken our startups recently to Cyprus, Taiwan. We've taken our startups for the Dubai Expo, for example, in the past. We've taken our startups for Slush as well to France, right? And this gives them an opportunity to showcase their product at a global level, and also simultaneously connect with international stakeholders and build their network. So what I can also do is share some success stories on this, so one can get an idea of how this works and how it has benefited startups in the past. So you're covering one of the relevant marquee initiatives for our students and our young entrepreneurs who have joined us today. National Startup Awards. It is done yearly. As you can see, we've done 3 editions already. So we try to reward and recognize, startups, entrepreneurs doing great work in their fields. We come out with multiple categories. So for example, in the last edition of the National Startup Awards, we had a dedicated category for innovators in the agriculture sector and animal husbandry. So winners of the National Startup Awards get fiscal incentives, fiscal benefits, along with non-fiscal in the form of hand-holding support. And finalists of the National Startup Awards will get dedicated hand-holding support. So this is how we try to, recognize and reward the startups. Apart from this, of course, winners are exposed to all of our benefits. So right from, getting investor connects to mentorship support to corporate and international market access opportunities, all the ones that I have covered. So one thing that I think I missed out on, but I'll just cover it very briefly here. Like we do programs and challenges in collaboration with corporate partners, we also do it with various ministries and public bodies at the central level. So, similar format. there also we try to provide, fiscal and non-fiscal incentives to the startups. So that is it from my end. I hope that was very brief and informative. Any questions? Would love to take it up.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for discussing how the Startup India Hub actually works, like starting from introduction to how the policy advocacy for startup works and mentorship programs and international market opportunities and how to get this DPIT recognition under Startup India and how you are bridging with the international markets and how the Startup India actually connecting the young entrepreneurs. So this will be definitely going to be helpful for all the participants. So the participants, if you have any questions, you can keep in chat box or you can raise your hand. So the questions will be taken now. So both the speakers are available. So I think I can see some questions from participant sides. So Bindu ma'am, are you also there, right?
Yeah. I'm online.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So actually there is a question from one participant. So they're asking, is there any scheme for the biofertilizer production? Schemes related to biofertilizer production. I think Bindu ma'am can.
It comes under the category of secondary agriculture. So in BIRAC, as I mentioned before, there are schemes for different stages. So under big also they can apply if they have whatever I mentioned, the list of criteria they look for. If they can frame their proposal in the same manner, definitely they can submit the application to big call also. Depends on stage actually. So basically the grants available at what stage your project is. Accordingly, based on the scheme, they have to, frame their proposal and they can submit their application.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Ananya, ma'am, you want to share anything from your side from Startup India Hub?
So we try to be very sector agnostic when it comes to our benefits. So there's no dedicated, scheme just for such startups. But of course, there will be numerous programs and challenges, right, where certain sectors will be eligible. Maybe what I can do is, just provide links to those kinds of programs and challenges which are housed on our platform.
That's great. Thank you. And there's one more question from participants. Like they're asking, how can we use these startups as a platform to strengthen the FPOs, like farmer producer organizations?
So maybe I can take that up.
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Okay, so a great question right now, because recently we've also been interacting with a lot of farmer producer companies and farmer producer organizations. So like I had mentioned, only caveat being that so FPOs, I believe, are registered under the Cooperative Society Act, correct? And not the Companies Act. So to get DPIT recognition, one would have to be either of the three entity types that I had mentioned. So either private limited or registered partnership or LLP, limited liability partnership. So FPCs and FPOs can benefit to the extent that we are actually in the process of also trying to brainstorm a dedicated cohort for them. So while interacting with a lot of the FPCs, you can correct me if, because you are connected more with, sector specific entrepreneurs. But a core challenge that was being faced by the FPCs was that making their products market ready. So prior to launching it in the market, right? When it comes to lab testing or, what are the specifications that a product should have. So that is something that we are also trying to, gauge an idea of and trying to work towards it to provide them with hand-holding support when it comes to that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Shakti, I think you got the answer. So Bindu ma'am, is there anything suggestion from your side regarding this question?
Yeah, sure. I just want to add a point to Dr. Ananya's explanation. So, as a FPO or FPC, BIRAC don't have any special schemes, but because they have a mandate, like either they have registered through Startup India or Companies Act. That's a mandate for BIRAC. So, but as an individual, if they come up with any proposal, if there is a strength and scope in the proposal, there are schemes to support agri-related startups, but not as such FPO or FPCs.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, and there is one more question from Ramsai. So he's asking, is there any specific courses for startup development in integrated farming, like to set up model farms?
Yeah, I just want to Bindu this side. So, there are few training programs offered by, some NGOs.
Ma'am, can you open your video? I think you're not visible also. So this, yeah. And same Ananya ma'am, can you switch on your video?
So, yeah.
Perfect.
So there are few, NGOs, they are organizing these kind of programs. And NABARD also have many training programs. And recently, that's a, German collaboration organization. They also conducted, training programs for integrated farming for FPOs and FPCs. So, you have to actively check on these websites for these kind of training programs. So this is what I have information.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Thank you.
NABARD also sometimes they conduct these kind of training programs. You have to actively look into their websites and you have to get the benefit of those training programs.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And there is question from one more participants, like they will be asking, can multiple grants be applied for different goals within the same company?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Can multiple grants be applied for different goals within the same company, like one for product development, other for commercialization, and other for go-to-market strategies?
Yes, definitely. But as per my knowledge, there will be a short on funding, cap. If they are giving, maximum fund in one scheme for at a certain stage, so the same support they will not get for, different project for the same company. Because they also have restrictions like, they should not give more number of funds to same company or same entity. They have certain limits. So they will support, but there is a cap on the funding.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And then one more question from Anand. He is asking, how do we actually approach for startup while filing patent as a startup? I think Ananya ma'am or Bindu ma'am, you can take up this question.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Like for filing patent as startups, how do we actually approach this? Like as startups are always short of funds, how do we reach out to understand our case and proceed further?
See, in my presentation also, I told you there is a program under BIRAC called PATH. Every second Friday, they conduct these sessions. So you can, put your case to, you can send an email, your case to, BIRAC team. They will call for a meeting on every second Friday. Every case they take up every month. So basically, they bring experts based on your case, and they will handhold you, what kind of patent you have to file, which will be useful for you. They will handhold everything. And recently, they started some Law Connect, program for IP especially. So for basic knowledge also, that is free of cost. That is not chargeable. So people who are interested, they can attend those sessions and they can get the knowledge of that IP related things.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And then one question from Ramakrishna. If startups want to take loans from financial institutions without collateral, how to get it?
So maybe I can take that one up.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So the credit guarantee scheme that I was mentioning, credit guarantee scheme for startups, eligibility criteria, again, I can share in the chat box as well. But you have to be DPIT recognized, and there are certain basic guidelines. Currently, we have 27 member institutions, so 27 banks registered. These are NBFCs, AIFs, private sector banks, public sector banks. So these banks can be approached, and that is the whole idea behind credit guarantee scheme for startups, to provide collateral-free debt, because this is a struggle that startups have, right? They don't have much collateral, which is why banks were not providing as much loan to them. So credit guarantee scheme for startups is something that the startups can look into.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And I'll take two more questions since we are also running out of the time, so we need to finish. So, is there how much cap limit for a company? They're asking.
See, it depends on
No.
scheme. For big scheme, 50 lakhs they provide for 18 months. If they find any progress or useful progress in the project, they will support next level TRL. But for certain schemes like validation and commercialization stage, there is no cap for companies. It's completely depends on the project.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's
And
from my
Ananya, ma'am?
side.
Sorry, I don't have a cap for what exactly. I don't have any inputs on that.
Okay, ma'am. And one question to Ananya, ma'am. What is the typical duration for obtaining DPIT registration recognition?
So the duration from starting with the application and then finally getting your certificate, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So like I had mentioned in the slide, so when you fill out the form, and if you have all your documents ready with you, should not take more than 15 to 20 minutes. Once your application is submitted, 1 to 2 business days in order for your form to get evaluated. Now, while evaluating the form, there might be certain, if there are any, certain incompletion within the form, that is also communicated to the startup. If there's no, incomplete information, then 1 to 2 days in getting DPIT certificate.
Yes, ma'am. Perfect. So I think there are still a lot of questions in chat box. Since we are also short of time, we need to conclude the session. So thank you participants for your questions. So still, if you have any questions, you can contact the speakers. The speaker details are given in the chat box. So do not forget to give feedback of this webinar. The link is shared in group. And also apart from this, also from Manage side, we have exciting update for you, like digital marketing skills for agri startups for 7th batch applications are open. So to help startups on entrepreneurs to develop a sound understanding of digital marketing. So it is actually a 2 weeks online program. So you can register for it, and also do not forget to register for this upcoming webinar. And do not forget to follow us on social media. Before concluding the session, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to both the speaker for their informative session and also all the participants for their active engagement. And also I would like to thank Director Dr. Sarunandra sir and also my team for hosting this webinar successfully. See you next week with another exciting topic. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Kal.
Thank you
so
so
much,
much.
ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Ananya and Dr. Bindu. Thank you very much. It's very nice to hear you both.
Sir, thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.